So now we're going to start our hints and tips on Christmas, which is very, very soon around the corner, so it's always good to start thinking about that. Now we often jump in and start buying things now, overbuying our things, and the shops are only shut really for 2 days probably, so you don't need to panic about getting all these extra things in. But if you do start that, there are some things that you can do as well to help you with the Christmas dinner. So we've got our sort of potatoes and root vegetables and things. If you've already bought those to sort of get you a little bit ahead, you could actually parboil those. If you just parboil them until soft, refresh them under water, and then they can go into the freezer ready for Christmas Day, which is fantastic, a little bit less to do. So we've also got our cheeses. Now we often buy a lot of cheese at Christmas, it's lovely to have cheese boards and things like that, but it's whether you're going to get through it or not. You also need to keep that in your mind. But if you have got a lot, hard cheeses go into the freezer fantastically well. You can also use your soft cheeses, maybe in sauces. So if you've got any brie or anything like that that's soft, mozzarella or anything like, you can melt them down into cheese sauces and make nice lasagnas afterwards, or anything that could go into the freezer. So you've got lazy meals if you've got unexpected guests coming over or anything like that. So another one as well is lemons and oranges. We often have a few of these bowls of fruits and things in. So if you've got oranges that are going a little bit soft, maybe they could go into mulled cider or mulled wine, something like that's really nice. And lemons as well are another one that often you buy a big net of them and they start to go mouldy. So a really good tip is to slice those up, pop them into ice cube trays with your ice, and then it makes really nice refreshing ice cubes for your drinks on New Year's Eve or over the Christmas period. So the recipe I'm going to be doing here is a cranberry and beetroot brownie. So you've probably heard of beetroot brownies, possibly. We're going to add some cranberry sauce because obviously this is something that tends to get left over. We buy great big jars of it, so if we can use it up, because it's got a lovely sweet fruity flavour, it's perfect for this. So all the little tips and hints that I've been saying as well, you must have a look on the Love Food Hate Waste website as well. There's lots and lots, and then there's lots of ways of being able to plan for Christmas, so do have a look at that. So to get started, I've got a nice warm pan. So into that we're just going to add 100 grams of butter, okay? And then, so we've got 100 grams of butter in our pan, and into that we're going to add another 100 grams of dark chocolate, just dark cooking chocolate, and all we're going to do is just get these melted together. Now you could use a bain-marie for this if you want to. I don't find it's necessary. As long as you've got the butter in with this and you keep stirring it, it's absolutely fine, just to keep it moving, and it melts a lot quicker. Otherwise you're waiting a long time sometimes when you're using a bain-marie. So that's just going to be happy to melt for a moment. So let's get our dry ingredients mixed together. So we have 40 grams of flour going in here, okay? That is just plain flour. And then into that we're going to add about, it is 60 grams of caster sugar, okay? So just get those worked through together. Now then, I'm just going to add a little bit of vanilla, which I'm going to just pop in with our chocolate mixture here because it's nice and runny. This is a paste, but obviously just a extract or anything, just the supermarket ones are perfectly fine, or you don't have to put it in at all if you don't want to. If you haven't got any, just don't bother with it. It's not going to be the end of the world. We've got some other good flavours going in here. So that chocolate is done. We don't want to overcook that because it will split slightly, so that's perfect as is. So into here, we're going to start incorporating our chocolate. I'm just going to use my wooden spoon to start with. So we're just going to pour all that lovely melted chocolate through. Fabulous. And then we're going to add our eggs in a second. Let's get all of that out of the pan, all that chocolate goodness. Now these can be made in advance as well, these brownies, okay? They do go into the freezer too. Now, eggs. So we've got 2 whole eggs going in here, okay? Your shells can go into your composting if you do that at home as well, that's really good. Right, so good mix through now. We're looking for quite a runny batter. You might be thinking, oh gosh, this looks very loose, but that's actually what we want, because we only want these to be lovely and sticky in the middle. Right, so we've got beetroot here, so leftover beetroot, often when you buy the packs of it to go with cold cuts, things like that, you may end up with the odd one left over. Beetroot in baking is fantastic. You get the nice colour also goes through it, but it gets very moist. You can't taste a huge flavour of the beetroot, but it just gives that lovely moist consistency in the baking. So I'm just going to grate one into here, and it's a lovely colours as well. You can use parsnip into baking as well. Parsnip scones are really good. That's another nice one to try with root vegetables. Obviously there's carrot cake. So there are lots of different ways of using up vegetables in baking. So for this one I'm going to add a good couple of dessert spoons of our cranberry sauce. And then mix it all in. So the cranberry's going to keep it lovely and moist as well. We've got that beautiful fruity flavour, so you're just going to get some nice little bites of cranberry. Now, into a prepared tin. So I've just lined this, obviously. I've got a round one here, but you could use a loaf tin or you could use just a nice shallow baking dish, whatever you've got. I'm just going to pour the mixture in so it's nice and loose, nice loose batter. Now the oven needs to be preheated to 180 degrees. And all we're going to do is going to cook that for about 20 minutes. Now what you want to do is be quite careful. Brownie should form a nice crust on the top, but it wants to be lovely and gooey in the middle. So basically you just need to keep a skewer or a toothpick nearby, and then at the sort of 15-20 minute mark just push in to check it's nice and gooey in the middle still. So we're going to pop this into the oven now. Right, now it's time to get out our cranberry and beetroot brownie. Okay, so we're going to cut up our lovely cranberry and beetroot brownies. So we've got a nice, lovely, sticky mixture in the middle. I'm just going to cut mine up into little rectangles. I'm going to put them on a big sharing board. Obviously, you probably won't be there long enough for that though. So we've got that lovely beetroot through the middle. You can just see that. We've got the cranberries. Just stack them all up. Ooh. These served with just a bit of cream, some clotted cream or something like that would be amazing. Some of your banana ice cream we were talking about earlier with our use up bananas. So I'm just going to sprinkle some strawberries over that. This would be such a good lazy dessert actually around Christmas time if you've got friends coming over. Pop it straight to the middle of the table. And that's us. So that's our beetroot and cranberry brownie.
Derbyshire, we waste 63,000 tonnes of food, which is a big waste for the environment, and it also costs taxpayers £6.3 million to dispose of in landfill. When food goes into landfill, it rots and produces greenhouse gases, which is really bad for the environment and can cause climate change. So we need to reduce food waste by the tips that you've got today, or use our food waste collections if we have unavoidable food waste. So things like banana peelings can go into your food waste collection.